Alrighty. The VMware User Group, or VMUG, is an independent, global, customer-led organization created to maximize members' use of VMware and partner solutions through knowledge, sharing, training, collaboration, and events. Get connected to a local VMUG community near you at vmug.com. We have communities all over the United States and also in Europe, so please get connected and share your experiences with other VMUG members. Today is going to be a very interactive session, so please use the Q&A function or the chat for all your questions to our panelist, Kannan. They will be answering these questions live and in the question box throughout the webcast, so please use the Q&A function, or if you'd like, you could use the chat. And this session is being recorded. We post all of our webinars on our YouTube channel, on the VMUG YouTube channel, and the recording will be distributed in a wrap-up email after the webcast. So without further ado, I'll turn things over to Kannan.
Hey, thank you, Tristan. First of all, and wherever you are, like Tristan said, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. I think this is just a America session, but I would definitely keep saying the same script whichever I say because I'm a global technologist in here in Intel. Hey, I think we are coming out to the wrapping up this year, so I want to use this session. I'm sure whoever you heard about my talk or about this subject, if you're on an Intel infrastructure, Intel platforms, you may call it. And if you have seen me speaking in one of those VMUG sessions, either physical or virtual, I do talk about data center modernization, especially on Intel Xeon, and then how we make our Xeon infrastructure, current Xeon generations, AI ready as well, whether you planning on doing AI or want to do AI. Our infrastructure is already available. It's got the capability, and we have got a lot of integration done with VMware, right? So I want to use this session more interactive, like Tristan said. Feel free to put in your questions. So three things I want to achieve. One is like, I'll say what we have done so far with VMware and Intel. That way it can refresh your memory. Like, here is what you can expect this year. And then the second thing is I will also say what are we planning on doing next year and the next year onwards. There is a plan going on actively with VMware as well. And then the third thing I want to get is this is something I actually wanted to get you all, especially for this session. I want to use this session for you all to send me feedback or ask me questions, whatever the journey you are in the modernization, data center modernization, right? I'm happy to help. That's why I always try to talk about myself a little bit. I know I did get some feedback. Maybe it's not the feedback as from me or from other speakers. I just want to make sure that I'm available as a community member. I'm pretty active in VMware. I'm pretty active in VMware community. The reason is my background is mostly on the enterprise applications and virtualization in specific, especially also on containers as well, and the enterprise applications. So I worked in VMware for 6.5 years. I worked in HPE, and now I'm in Intel for the past 3 years. I'm pretty much passionate about helping the enterprise customers, whether they're virtualizing their environmental or they're doing containers. I'm kind of the guy who actually kind of steps up voluntarily to help our customers, whatever the journey are. So with that, I'll keep it pretty short. So let's talk about, like I said, let's talk about what we have done so far here, right? So I'll let me go to the styled window. I want to pull it up, like what we have done so far. So this is something I always talk about it. This is something you should also take away. Let me try to build this up. So as you know, many of our customers, and you probably may also be in that path as well. Whether you're doing an AI applications with all of this, let me get my pen here, laser pointer. So if you're doing any of this use cases with AI, we have the inbuilt accelerators, and that's what we call this Intel Xeon value add, which I don't think any of our uh, competition has. Again, by the way, this is all free. It's available inbuilt into the Intel Xeon chips. There's no software needed. There's no license needed. All you have to do is for these kind of workloads, you just enable AMX. All it does is all for this workload, it's going to offload that into the AMX, the accelerator engine, and you're going to see the CPU cycle going down. The AMX is going to take advantage of it. So whatever the freed up CPU, you can use additional workload to run on the freed up CPU, right? So when you're planning on consolidation from the older generation, newer generation, you get this as an additional boost, right? So you're already consolidating, replacing 10 old servers with 2 new servers. And then plus on top of the 2 new servers, even further reducing the CPU, kind of helps you to boost or add additional workload on top of it with the inbuilt accelerator, right? If you're doing data analytics, that's like number one virtualized databases in VMware. It's been a stable platform. Oracle, SQL, SAP, HANA, they have been virtualized for many years, right? Even big data analytics can be in data warehousing. Those things you can take advantage of the QAT, which is actually been working very closely with VMware at the VM level, the QAT enable, and also host level, so that you can, with the AMX and QAT, within our Intel clusters, you can do vMotioning back and forth. So as I said, VM level as well as host level is something we are working on right now. So QAT, what it does is, like the one I'm pointing it out, MS SQL Server backup has been integrated with our QAT. So you know how much CPU cycle the SQL Server takes it up, right? So it kind of reduces the CPU cycle again, like, whatever the backup that MS SQL want to run. So it offloaded with QAT. There's a procedures already available that you can probably use it as well. And then the networking 5G, if you're using it, there's a VLAN and also QAT can help. And we do have integration with RV load balancer. Those, if you don't know about or not using RV load, this is one of the application load balancer. It's one of the VMware product. We have got from 331.1.1 onward, the QAT has already been integrated. In fact, recently we are working with RV product team where we are trying to certify to our latest Gen 6 servers as well. The work is actually going on. What it does is actually it enhances the SSL transactions much higher by using this, enabling the QAT. Because of this crypto acceleration, you get that benefits, I think 6 times more as compared to not using AVI with QAT, okay? And then the storage wise, as you know, we are working actively with all those use cases with QAT, and then high performance computing. To some extent, they can use AMX with all these use cases. So this is something we have done so far with 2025. If you're already done your migration to 4th gen onwards, that's Xeon 4 or Xeon 5, Xeon 6. 6th generation is the one right now. It's called GNR, Granite Rapids. That's been certified, and we got a lot of OEMs systems out there, right? If you go to Broadcom compatibility guide, you will find it. So if you're on 4th generation onwards, you can definitely take use of this value add, okay? Feel free to use that. And I keep stressing on that. I don't mind re-stressing it, but this is something I would highly encourage you to do it. And if you are planning on migrating from older Gen 1, as you know, it's end of life. So please get rid of Gen 1. VMware is not supporting, and so do we. And if you install the latest 9.0 version, 9.1 is also going to come soon. It is going to flag Gen 1 as end of support. Gen 2 will also be end of support by end of this year, or maybe by middle of next year, depending on the timeline right now. As of now, it's trending towards the end of this year. So feel free to take advantage of that. Gen 1 and Gen 2 does not have any of those this value add support. Any of those the security is pretty minimal for Gen 1 and Gen 2, even for Gen 3 to some extent. But Gen 4 onwards, we have been doing. But I would highly encourage you to move to the latest one called Gen 6, which is a current one. And then these are all already available. And the other thing I think you will love it is about the confidential computing. Confidential computing is nothing but you're protecting your data in use, right? And these 2 technologies already we integrated with VMware, with VCF. So this one, SGX, We've been supporting on from 7.0 onwards, which is actually gives an application level protection. If your application is running inside the VM, if you enable SGX, there's a little bit of application code changes needs to happen so that you get application level protection. TDX is actually the VM level protection. Whatever applications you're running inside the VM, TDX will take care of it. And that's something we are actually working on. As of now, with 9.0, it's not vMotionable, but from 9.1 onwards, you're thinking of getting the vMotion support as well. So that's 2025. Okay. So what are we planning on, which was something I wanted to bring it up as well. Let me get to the tile window, and I want to get to this slide. And then I'll open up for Q&A, okay? Okay, so what are the plans for the features, like if we are enabling it, right? I mean, as you all know, right, the platform gets pretty robust, pretty appealing, because when you're investing on the latest and greatest platform, because some of the customers have refresh cycle for every 3 years or every 5 years. So you want your investment to be protected for next 3 years, 5 years. I've seen some customers doing every year as well, but not many, right? But at least 3 years planning is happening, or at least 5 years planning is happening. So you want to know your current workload is running fine. I've seen customers being acquired by some company, or they acquire some other company. It all comes with challenges, right? They want to run existing application. They are getting challenged to run AI applications or do some AI development. They want to run some container-based application. Everything can fit into the current infrastructure? Is something they always want to do. So I always say infrastructure matters. Make sure what you want to run, and then build infrastructure or buy infrastructure for that. And that's what you need to be doing it, right? So plan carefully and then execute in phases. So with that, I think from this year onwards, I know AMX we've been supporting from 8.0 onwards. Even it will be support on 9.0 going forward. So that at least gives you a perspective what's going to be expected next year. QAT, good for crypto, the compressed file system database backup I mentioned, custom storage stacks, especially with NetApp and those guys, Pure and all those things. We are trying to work with them with almost custom storage stacks. QAT is pretty key, especially on the VMware stack. From 7.0 on, we've been supporting it. CXL and flat memory mode, it's something it's in the plan. The target is for 9.1 onwards. So expect for that. If you have a demand, if you're looking for some of those, to let me know. You can look me up in LinkedIn, or you can send me email kannan.mani@intel.com. Based on the demand, we may accelerate this, but this is definitely in plan. CXL mostly is good for the memory expansion. And we all heard about Optane. Optane is sunset already. The next thing is all going to be the Compute Express links, which is a CXL or tier-based storage that we can enable. And then the flat memory mode is actually good for the DDR4 memory reuse for most of the old systems. So that's also targeting for 9. And this is pretty much key for SAP HANA kind of a workloads. And security onwards, the software got extensions, app level protection. We have been enabling from 7.0. You will see that on 9.0, which will have support as well. And for TDX, which is a VM level protection, this is most of the customers are very much interested. At this point, we are doing it 9.0, which is enabled as of the GA 9.0 version. And it will not have the vMotion support, but 9.1 onwards, we will have vMotion support. Okay. So that's something I want to recap. And I mean, if you have not heard me talking earlier, you probably must have missed this. But like I said, what we are currently capable of, what we are planning on. In fact, there's one more thing I want to add. As you all know, the VMware also announced something called AI-ready nodes, which we are actually working on. That's something I also want to capture that too. If you have questions, again, I've not seen any questions so far or anything on the chat as well, but do ask me questions so that we can keep this more interactive. I want to show you this as well while you are submitting the questions there. Let me go and talk about this one really quick. Okay, yeah. So if you are an AI, if you're interested in doing something on AI, especially, hey, I don't have money to buy GPUs, but what can I do with CPUs, right? This is something you probably want to consider. And this is something VMware is also advocating. And if you have seen Chris Wolf talking, CTO of VMware, he mentions this pretty much because today GPU is costly. GPU comes with some software stack, and you need some additional skills to make sure that it you properly install and configure those systems, right? But there's certain workloads, like if you're running some ML workloads or fine tuning an LLM with 15 to 20 billion parameters. In fact, with Gen 6, you can go to up to 50 billion parameters. Then you probably won't need a GPU at all, right? If you're going to go beyond that, then you may need a GPU. And if you're very critical about your low latency and you're looking for immediate responses, and then you're training workload, or you're doing a training of large models from scratch, then you may need GPU. So like I always say, don't get me wrong, we do support GPUs as well. So does VMware, and we have a roadmap with VMware as well. But I would say if your workload does not need GPU, you might as well get good to start with CPU itself. So get this in your back pocket if you're planning on doing on your AI workloads. If you want to keep your costs down, if you want to keep your power down, if you want to make sure your current workload that you can plan on running with the large language modeling, whether if it's like a small or average models, you can be as well plan on doing on CPUs with AMX. As like I said before, we are supporting from 4th gen onwards. Okay. So that's something I always encourage our customers, our OEMs, our partners to do convey this messaging, right? It's going to be mixed again. Everybody today is like, what I can do with my current infrastructure, what I can do if I buy this infrastructure, what I can do with this infrastructure for next 3 years or next 5 years. Can I do hybrid workload? When I say hybrid, certain things you can run on certain CPUs, certain things you can run on GPUs, certain things you can run on both. So you got, I mean, we with VMware platform, we can orchestrate that as well, depending on the workload. We can place those VMs that needs CPU, that needs GPU, that needs both as well. So think through that. I always tell this if you are planning on doing this, keep this as a kind of a baseline for you to just. I mean, if you are looking for some data, say, hey, Kannan, I know what you're talking about, but can I see some data? Can you tell me like what AMX does and with and without AMX, right? We do have data, and I can supply to that. We do have some demos for all of those accelerators and the security thing, which I talked about it. And VDA workloads also be supported, as you know, if you're doing some VDA deployment, let me know as well. Can you outline the relationship of tokens to GPU? I will take this question. I will get back to you. I'm not specific. I know what you're asking about, but I want to give more details here. Mordan, I think I'm saying your name right. So I'll get back to you. But if I don't get back to you, send me an email, kannan.mani@intel.com. I think I might have a detailed explanation for you, and also maybe have some data point to support you for this, especially for GPUs. As you know, we are getting into the GPUs, into the roadmap. Our next generation is going to support some of those virtualized GPUs. We do have Gaudi, which is not a virtualized GPU. It is a kind of a direct IO path that we have enabled it. We did offer support that. So with a Gaudi, it got an 8 card. So you can have one VM talking to each card or one VM talking to 8 cards. So that's more like a VM direct. It's not virtualized. From the next generation of GPU is something we are planning on supporting it. So I will provide those details to you, Morlan, about the outline of relationship tokens to the GPUs. I just want to make sure I give you the detailed response to you. So good question. Thank you. Keep up the questions coming up here. Okay, the release of processor Intel is reliant on Grand Rapid. Next, will that ever slow down and allow users to catch their breath? Um, yeah, so the Granite Rapids is actually, it's been released, if you know. It's already been certified. If you Google it, Broadcom Compatibility Guide, and look for Xeon 6. Xeon 6 is nothing but Granite Rapids. We have two variants, SP and AP, the standard edition and advanced. Advanced will support more processors. So SP, as we speak, it's been supported. Um, so um, yeah, the Xeon 6 is something. It's going to have a little longer shelf life until we catch up for the next one. But again, it's a good feedback. Let us know which version, which Xeon versions you are at. And again, Steve, feel free to send me a note. Like I said before, happy to work on it. Oh yeah, and Diamond Rapids just too quick. Well, Diamond Rapids, it's not going to come much quicker, as you know. But send me a note. I just want to give you there are some information I cannot share. There are some information I can share to you. So under NDA or if you already have a customer NDA, I can share with you as well because Diamond Rapids is not out yet. So I can provide you with some information. So Steve, so just send me a note, kannan.mani at intel.com. I'm happy to give you that detailed information to you. I know Nick, you raised the hand. I don't know you can talk, but send me in questions via chat. I don't think you have a functionality to talk here. And Tristan, feel free to chime in if they can talk. I don't know if they have the ability to talk. Okay, are there any other questions that okay, let's see, Q&A. Q&A I opened up, nothing in there. Let's do chat. Okay, chat, I only see the GPU questions. No, sorry, wrong button. Oh, okay, I got you. No worries, Nick. Is there anything you want to hear from us? I mean, let's start with some feedback as well. Do be frank, be candid with me. Anything you would like to see from Intel, like, what we can do better. I know I've seen some of those questions about like, hey, it's too soon to catch up, especially on the generation. So it makes sense. Again, we are listening actively. Our Intel, the whole thing has changed. I'm believe me, if I were a customer, I also have to face the same thing. So we'd like to hear it from you all. Help where you are right now. Help you to plan, or if you're already in the middle of planning, feel free to include us. We can help you out as well. Because I love this community. VMUG is the community. Actually, I call them like they give me the unvarnished truth. Because my next solution is going to be based on whatever the feedback you're going to be giving to us. Okay. Um, I think in a sense, when I say we in Intel, especially in this VM account team, I carry OKR, the objective as, especially on all the technical roadmaps. So, and I've told earlier, we actively work with VMware, having a joint roadmap. We actively work with VMware engineering, where we share codes and optimize for you to run the VCF on top of Xeon platform, and plus all the integrations we do with the Xeon value add and also the security functionality that we do. Okay, I'm looking for feedback. Again, if you can't give feedback now, you can always send me an email as well. Let me see if I can get you that email. Excuse me, sorry. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So this is my email address for those you all. If you're active in LinkedIn, you can catch me up in LinkedIn as well. Sometimes on and off, like I keep posting it, what we've been doing it jointly with VMware. There are some multiple blogs, benchmarking we publish, VMmark stuff, competitive information. We don't post a lot sometimes. I mean, we can, though we post competitive, I think you as a customer can determine what needs to be done because I normally state what we are good at it, and you can always look at the competitive as well. But one thing always keep in mind, going from one platform to another platform is not that seamless. And as you know, it's going to cost you time, SLA, money, resources, everything. So if you're on Intel, stay with Intel, because I mean, if you ask me, that's pretty seamless. And unless you see any bottlenecks or anything that you encounter, let us know. We are happy to help. We do have a real good architect team. We do have real good technical performance team to help you out. Okay, any Intel NIC coming similar to Bluefield offsetting workloads? Yeah, so not yet. We are actually working on certain, Steve, there are certain things we are working on. Again, part of your, if you're going to send me an email, add this question as well. I'm happy to provide that roadmap as well. There is some talks going on with VMware, especially getting this offloading this workload, similar to like the Bluefield NICs. There are some active roadmap we are working on, but we have a solid roadmap for CPU. For NIC, this is a work in progress. So it's a perfect question. Please add that to your question, and I will respond to you. Okay. Are there any other questions? Feedback? Is this good so far? Again, one other thing I want to add, if you're looking to type some questions, take your time. You can always send me feedback later as well. One thing I was telling him earlier, I was joining, Tristan and I were talking about it. This VMUG audience, they are pretty much techies. They're architects or hands-on or admins, right? So I used to be an architect hands-on as well. So we are only doing most of those materials to you with all those benchmarking. Going forward, I think next year onwards, it's going to be VMware Connect, a VMUG Connect. So it's going to be 2 or 3 days. We are going to offer you jointly with VMware. We can give you demos. We can also give you hands-on labs, especially the functionality I talked about, the AMX, QAT, the GPU accelerator with Gaudi, the next GPU, which can be virtualized, is something is also in plan, the AI-ready nodes that we are planning on, like vSAN ready nodes, right? So we are doing something with the AI-ready nodes. That's something we can offer. So look for those contents. We're actually working on. So next year, it's going to be more interesting. So we will have more content, more hands-on stuff. You might as well get access to some of our labs, and so that you can actually feel like what I'm talking, So, all right, let's see what else questions here. Steve Orwin, processor TDP constrained battle, any revolutionary cooling technology? I mean, yeah, there are some thing in plan. So there are some liquid cooling we are working on, especially with few OEMs. I'm taking it as well, this notes here, Steve, but add to your question list. I got your the Xeon thing, the NIC, and also the TDP. Yes, we are actually working on that. As you know, we announced joint partnership with NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA, with their product along with our GPU as a host GPU, and then we are trying to get that more like a custom CPU, something which I can't reveal it anything unless it's going to be public. But if you are under CNDA, I can provide you certain timelines for that as well. So we are actively working on this for sure. So you must have already heard about that announcement earlier that we did jointly with NVIDIA. But we are trying to do other stuff, especially with NVIDIA, and also are building our own stack, which will also have working with our OEMs as well as ODMs to get this cooling technologies inbuilt. So look out for that. And I'm happy to add that as part of your question, Steve. All right, so we're almost like 30 minutes now. So I know, I mean, unless you don't have any questions, I'll stay for another 5 minutes. But again, I value your feedback. Please send me a note. I like all those questions I've seen so far. And I want to thank Steve for asking all those questions, as well as Marlon about the GPU question. Others, again, I know you are kind of silent, but I respect your feedback a lot, because some of this feedback is going to help me to get the better contents for next year. As we are wrapping up this year, I want to thank you all. You know, stay safe, stay warm. I'm sure you have more questions later, maybe not now. Like I said, send me an email, or look me up in LinkedIn. I'm happy to provide those anything you may need. There's no. I mean, people say, "Hey, I have a stupid question." There's no such thing called stupid question. Any questions you may have, even if you think it's silly, just send it out to me. I'm happy to help. And if I can't help, I will get team, because we have a good team that we talk with VMware every day, every week, every month, at all levels. So we have PM level discussion, we have engineering level discussion, we have exec level discussion as well. So we will be happy to get your feedback into that mix. And then we also have a memorandum of understanding what's going on right now with the 2026 planning. So your feedback is going to be much, much valuable for this. So with that, I want to wrap it up, unless you don't have any questions. So I'll stay on for another 5 minutes. I'll see if Tristan can come back and give a wrapping comment. And
Yeah, of
let me know if
course.
I miss
Thank you,
questions.
Kannan.
Yeah.
Any last minute questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A. And Kannan, feel free to cut me off at any point. Um, but yeah, as mentioned in the beginning, this session was recorded. It will be sent out in a wrap-up email, and it will also be posted onto our YouTube channel. Um,
Fantastic.
we have plenty of connects coming up next year. First one in Amsterdam, then in Minneapolis, then in Toronto, then in Dallas, and then Orlando. So check the VMUG website, register for Connect, and also register for any future webcasts coming up. So yeah, drop any more questions that you guys have. Um, thank you all for joining during this busy holiday season. Everyone thinking about time off, rightfully so, but we appreciate you all carving out time to be here.
Yeah. Thank you, Tristan. I'll stand for a few more minutes, and then maybe we can. I'll leave, but like Tristan said, send me feedback, guys. Um,
Great.
I respect a lot.
There will be a post-event survey. Please fill that out. That helps us bring you fresh, relevant content in future webcasts. So please fill out that post-event survey. All right, Kanan. If it's all right
Yeah,
with you, I'll wrap us up.
please go ahead.
Sounds good. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, bye everyone.